Hey guys, tonight we're going to dive into a world that's less about epic battles and glorious beards, and more about existential dread, family dysfunction, and a whole lot of misery. We're heading to the frosty, chaotic universe of Norse mythology, a place where the gods are powerful. Yes, but also deeply, painfully unhappy. Just imagine, for a second, what it's like to be a deity. You think it would be all feasting and glory. Right. Well, for the Norse gods, it's a non-stop, cosmic headache that you probably not want to sign up for. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here, and if you're up for it. Drop a comment with where you're listening from and what time it is for you. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You don't just wake up as a god, you were born from the primordial chaos, a time before time, when nothing existed but two opposing forces. On one side, there was Niflheim, a land of endless ice, fog, and freezing cold, and on the other, there was Muspelheim, a place of fire, heat, and glowing embers. In between them lay the void, an empty, silent chasm called Ginnungagap. The fire from Muspelheim and the ice from Niflheim met in this void, and from this violent, cosmic collision, life began. The first being to emerge wasn't a god, it was a giant, a massive, proto-giant named Ymir. From his sweat, from the gunk under his arms and between his legs, came more giants, a whole race of them, all equally massive and equally unpleasant, and from the melting ice, a giant cosmic cow named Odumla emerged. This cow's sole purpose was to feed Ymir by providing 4 rivers of milk, while Ymir was getting fat. Odumla was busy licking the salty ice of Niflheim. As she licked, a man began to emerge from the ice. First, his hair, then his head, and finally his entire body. This was Buri, the first of the gods. He had a son named Bor, who in turn had 3 sons: Odin, Vili, and Ve. These 3 are your brothers, your fellow gods, and your partners in a project that is, to put it mildly, an absolute pain. Your first major task is to deal with Ymir. The guy's a giant, a menace, and he's not getting along with your family. He's the personification of chaos, and you, the gods, are the personification of order. There's a fundamental, cosmic disagreement here, and it's not going to be solved with a nice, civilized conversation. So, you and your brothers do what any self-respecting proto-deities would do. You kill him. You murder the first living being, your ancestor, in a way, and you do it in a bloody, brutal fashion. The blood from his wounds floods Ginnungagap, and it drowns all the giants, save for one, Bergelmir, who escapes on a wooden box, a sort of proto-ark, and goes on to repopulate the world with even more giants who hate your guts. And here's where the misery really begins. You don't just kill Ymir and call it a day. You have to use his body to build the world. His flesh becomes the land. His bones become the mountains. His hair becomes the trees. His blood, the very blood you used to drown his family, becomes the sea and the rivers. His skull becomes the dome of the sky, held up by 4 dwarves, one at each corner, and his brains, they get thrown up into the air and become the clouds. Imagine that for a second. The clouds you see every day are a giant's brains. It's a pretty gruesome detail, a constant, disgusting reminder of the violence and betrayal that are at the very foundation of your world. This isn't a one-and-done project. It's an unending, laborious task. You and your brothers are constantly working to keep the world from falling apart. The mountains are crumbling, the seas are rising, the sky is cracking. This is not a glorious act of creation. It's a miserable, unending job. You're less a god and more a cosmic construction worker with a boss who's constantly trying to get you fired, fate itself. A common historical fact about this part of the myth is that the very names of the days of the week in some Germanic languages come from the gods. For example, Wednesday is Woden's day, Woden being another name for Odin, a little-known fact. However, is the academic debate surrounding the gender of Ymir, while he is generally considered a male giant. Some scholars argue that the name Ymir might be a cognate with the word twin, suggesting a dual-gendered, or even genderless, origin. This would make the Norse creation myth even more bizarre and unsettling. After you build the world, you and your brothers are just kind of hanging around. The world is empty, a beautiful but silent place. So, you go down to the seashore and you find 2 pieces of wood, a log of ash and a log of elm. You use these to create the first humans, a man and a woman, Ask and Embla. Odin gives them life and a soul, Vili gives them intellect and feelings, and Ve gives them hearing and sight. It's a sweet, almost tender moment, but it's quickly soured by the realization that you now have a whole new species to worry about. Humans are fragile, they're emotional, and they're going to make a whole lot of mistakes, all of which will inevitably become your problem. Your life as a god is not one of leisure. It's a life of constant work, constant worry, and a deep, gnawing sense of unease. You know, deep down, that this world you built is not going to last. You know that the giants you didn't kill, the ones who are out there in the cold, dark world of Jotunheim, are going to come back for revenge. You know that the end of your world, Ragnarök, is a prophecy that you cannot escape. You're a god who knows your own ending, and it's not a happy one. It's a bit like watching a movie where you know the main character is going to die, but you're also the main character. It's a miserable, unending state of anxiety. And this is just the beginning. The world has been built, humanity has been created, and you, the gods, are now stuck with the consequences. You're living in a world that is fundamentally broken, a world that is destined to end in fire and fury. You're a god, but you're also a prisoner of your own fate, a prisoner of a terrible cosmic design that you cannot escape. Your cosmic construction project is complete, and the world is now a functioning, if deeply flawed, place. But you, the gods, are not content. You are a small, vulnerable family, living in a vast, hostile universe. The giants, those enormous, vengeful beings who hate you for killing their ancestor, Ymir, are out there, in the cold, dark world of Jotunheim, and they are a constant, terrifying threat. You are powerful, yes, but you are not invincible. You need a home, a fortress, a place where you can feel safe from the encroaching chaos and the ever-present danger of giant-related retribution. So, you decide to build a city, a magnificent city that will be a testament to your power and your paranoia. You call it Asgard. The problem, however, is that building a fortress of this magnitude is a lot of work, even for a god, and you are, in a very real way, lazy. You're powerful, but you're not particularly good at manual labour. So, you do what any self-respecting, slightly too arrogant deity would do. You outsource the work. One day, a stranger rides into your court on a magnificent stallion. He is a master builder, a giant in disguise, and he offers to build the walls of Asgard for you in just 3 seasons. The walls he promises are so strong, so tall, so impregnable, that no giant could ever hope to scale them. He makes a bold claim, a claim that is almost too good to be true. He says he will build the walls in 3 seasons, but he has one condition, a very high condition, for his payment. He wants the sun, the moon, and the beautiful goddess Freya to be his wife. This is a terrible, terrible deal. You, the gods, are not idiots. You know this is a bad deal, but you are also arrogant, and you believe that this giant, this master builder, will never be able to complete the task. You are so confident in your own cleverness that you agree to the terms. a hubris that is about to come back and bite you in the cosmic backside. The one clever detail you add is that he must complete the work in exactly 6 months, not 3 seasons as he asked, and he can only use his horse, Svadilfari, to help him. You think you've outsmarted him. You think you've made an impossible task even more impossible. You think you've won, but you haven't. The builder and his horse, a stallion of immense strength and speed, work with an unnatural, almost terrifying efficiency. The horse, Svadilfari, does the work of 10 men, pulling enormous stones from the quarry with a speed and a strength that is simply breathtaking. The walls of Asgard begin to rise, stone by stone, a magnificent, towering fortress that is a testament to the giant's skill and his horse's power. It's a sight to behold, but a terrifying one. You, the gods, watch with growing panic as the walls get taller, as the fortress gets closer to completion, as the deadline looms. It becomes clear that the giant will finish the walls on her time, and you, the gods, will have to pay the price. You will lose the sun, you will lose the moon, and you will lose Freya, the most beautiful and beloved of your goddesses. The panic sets in, a cold, stomach-churning fear that you are about to lose everything. The gods turn to the one person who got them into this mess, the one person who's supposed to be the master of cunning and trickery, Loki. Loki, in his typical fashion, is not particularly concerned. He is, however, a god who enjoys a good prank, and the thought of outsmarting a giant is a challenge he cannot resist. He hatches a plan, a ridiculous, almost unbelievable scheme that is so audacious, so utterly bonkers, that it just might work. He transforms himself into a beautiful mare, a mare in heat, and he gallops out to where the giant and his horse, Svadilfari, are working. Svadilfari, a stallion of a certain age and disposition, is instantly distracted. He forgets all about the walls, all about the quarry, all about the deadline. He sees the beautiful mare, and he runs after her. Loki, in the form of the mare, leads Svadilfari on a wild chase through the woods, through the fields, through the night. The giant, his work now at a standstill, is furious. He tries to catch his horse, but he can't. He runs after them, shouting and cursing, but it's no use. The horse is gone, and so is his chance to finish the walls on the time. The next morning the giant, defeated and humiliated, reveals his true form, a towering, monstrous being of immense rage, but it's too late. The deadline has passed, the walls are unfinished, and he has lost the battle. Thor, in a fit of rage, uses his hammer Mjolnir to smash the giant's head, ending the threat once and for all. But the story doesn't end there. The walls of Asgard are built, but they are unfinished. They are a monument to a betrayal, a reminder of a deal that went horribly wrong, a constant, ugly scar on the face of your magnificent city. And Loki, in his time as a mare, gives birth. He gives birth to an 8-legged horse, a magnificent, beautiful creature named Sleipnir. Sleipnir is a fast horse, a magical horse, and he becomes the personal steed of Odin. But he is also a constant, unsettling reminder of Loki's bizarre, shape-shifting nature, a detail that many scholars believe is a unique and somewhat awkward attempt to explain the origins of Odin's horse. It's a classic example of a god getting more than he bargained for. You, the gods, have a fortress, but it's a fortress built on a lie, a betrayal, and the bizarre, slightly traumatizing birth of a horse son. This incident, and the lies that surround it, are a classic example of the misery that permeates the lives of the Norse gods. You are not a family of heroes and glorious warriors. You are a family of liars, cheats, and manipulators. You are constantly betraying each other, constantly getting into trouble, and constantly dealing with the consequences of your own hubris. The walls of Asgard, a symbol of your power and your might, are, in reality, a monument to your shame, a constant, physical reminder of the time you tried to outsmart a giant and ended up with a half-built fortress and a shape-shifting horse son. It's a miserable, unending state of dysfunction. And it's a testament to the fact that even the gods are not exempt from a bad day at the office. The walls of Asgard are an unfinished, permanent scar on your magnificent city, and the shame of that debacle still hangs in the air like a bad smell. But you, the gods, are not just a collection of liars and cheaters, you are also, in a very real way, mortals in disguise. You age, you get tired, you get sick. You're not the eternal, glorious beings you pretend to be. Your one saving grace, the one thing that keeps you from a slow, miserable decay, is a goddess and her basket of magical fruit. Her name is Idun, and her apples are the only thing that keeps you all from turning into a pile of cosmic dust. One day, you and the gods are out on a joyride, a little jaunt in the human world. When you get separated, Odin, Loki, and Helena find themselves in a desolate, forgotten corner of the world, hungry and exhausted. They come across a herd of cattle and decide to cook one for dinner. But a strange thing happens. No matter how long they cook the meat, it refuses to get done. The meat stays raw, cold, and unappetizing. They are baffled, angry, and most importantly, still very hungry. A giant eagle, a massive, terrifying bird of prey, lands on a branch above them and reveals itself to be a powerful giant named Thiazi, in disguise. He admits that he is the one who is preventing the meat from cooking, and he offers to let it cook if the gods will give him a share of it. The gods, desperate and starving, agree. Thiazi, in his eagle form, swoops down and takes not just a share of the meat, but the entire cow, a greedy, insulting act that infuriates Loki. Loki, in a fit of rage, tries to hit the eagle with a stick, but the stick gets stuck to Thiazi, and Loki is dragged through the sky, his feet scraping against the rocks and trees below. Thiazi, in a calm and menacing voice, tells Loki that he will not let him go until he promises to lure the goddess Idun and her magical apples out of Asgard. Loki, in a moment of pure, unadulterated fear, agrees. He agrees to betray his own kind, his own family, for his own selfish desire to not be scraped into a fine, paste-like goo. Loki returns to Asgard, a man with a terrible promise hanging over his head. He goes to Idun, the beautiful, naive goddess of youth, and tells her a lie. He tells her that he has found some apples in the woods that are even more potent, even more magical than hers. He tells her that she should come with him, that she should bring her apples with her, and that they should compare them. Idun, a goddess who sees the good in everyone, a goddess who is not used to the kind of betrayal that is a staple of Asgardian life, agrees. She leaves Asgard, and Loki, in a moment of pure soul-crushing betrayal, delivers her and her apples to the giant. Thiazi, in his eagle form, snatches Idun and her apples and flies away to his home in Thrymheim, a cold, desolate place in the giant's world of Jotunheim. The gods, who have been aging gracefully with the help of Idun's apples, now begin to age. They feel the slow, relentless march of time. Their skin begins to wrinkle, their hair begins to grey, their muscles begin to sag. They are not the glorious, powerful beings they once were. They are old, frail, and in a very real way, mortal. The once magnificent city of Asgard, a place of light and life, becomes a place of shadows and decay. The gods are miserable, a collection of old, grumpy, and increasingly senile deities who are now painfully aware of their own mortality. The gods, in their panic, begin to search for Idun. They look everywhere, but she is nowhere to be found. They begin to put the pieces together, and they realize that Loki, their resident trickster and troublemaker, is the one who is responsible. They are furious, a rage that is both a reflection of their fear and their betrayal. They find Loki, and they threaten him. They threaten him with a punishment so terrible, so humiliating, that he is forced to agree to rescue Idun. He agrees to go to Thrymheim, to face a powerful giant, to steal back the goddess and her apples, or to face their wrath. Loki, in his typical fashion, has to get creative. He borrows a magical cloak of falcon feathers from the goddess Freya, and he transforms himself into a falcon. He flies to Thrymheim, a cold, desolate place of endless snow and ice, a place that is the perfect reflection of the giant who lives there. He finds Idun, a prisoner in Thiazi's court, and he uses his magic to transform her into a small, brown nut. He snatches her up, and he begins to fly back to Asgard, a small, unassuming nut in the claws of a falcon. But Thiazi, the giant, is not a fool. He discovers that Idun is gone, and he immediately realizes what has happened. He transforms himself into a giant eagle, and he begins to give chase, a massive, terrifying bird of prey in hot pursuit of a small, frightened falcon. The chase is on, a high-stakes aerial pursuit that is as much a race against time as it is a race against a giant's wrath. The gods, watching from the walls of Asgard, are terrified. They see the eagle gaining on the falcon. They see the end of their lives, their immortality, their very existence. They light a massive bonfire, a fire that is meant to burn the giant, but not the god. It's a desperate plan, a last-ditch effort to save themselves and their immortality. Loki, with the eagle hot on his heels, flies over the walls of Asgard, a small, fast blur of motion. The eagle, in his pursuit, follows him, a massive, slow blur of motion. As soon as Loki is inside the walls, the gods light the fire. The eagle, Thiazi, is engulfed in the flames, a massive, terrifying fireball that falls to the ground in a shower of sparks and ash. The giant is dead, and Idun is safe. The gods are saved. But the story doesn't end with a happily ever after. You, the gods, are once again reminded of your own mortality, of your own frailty. You are reminded that your immortality is not a birthright, but a fragile stolen thing that can be taken away in a moment of trickery and betrayal. And Loki, the one who betrayed you all, is also the one who saved you all. He is a paradox, a trickster god who is both your greatest asset and your most terrifying liability. He is a constant, unsettling presence in your lives, a reminder of the darkness that lurks in the heart of your own family. The apples of Idun, a symbol of your eternal youth, are also a symbol of a promise broken, a betrayal, and a deep, gnawing sense of unease. It's a miserable, unending state of being, and it's a testament to the fact that even the gods are not exempt from a bad day at the office. The apples of Idun have returned, and you, the gods, have regained your youth, but the memory of your slow, miserable decay is still fresh in your minds. You're a family of immortals who just had a very real, very terrifying taste of mortality, and it's left you all a little shaken. And Loki, the trickster god, the one who betrayed you, the one who saved you, is a constant, unsettling presence. He is the thorn in your side, the one who is always a step ahead, always a little too clever for his own good, but his cleverness is about to lead to a problem that is not just a prank, but a genuine, terrifying threat to the very existence of your world. Loki, in his ever-present desire to cause a little mischief, has fathered 3 children with a giantess named Angerboda. Now, a normal god would have a child or 2, and that would be that. But Loki is not a normal god, and his children are not normal children. They are monsters, 3 of them, to be exact, and they are a sign of a prophecy that says these children will one day be the downfall of your world. The gods, with their long, miserable history of dealing with giants, are not about to take a chance. You and the other gods, led by Odin, decide to do something about it. You go to Jotunheim, the cold, dark world of the giants, and you bring the children back to Asgard. The first child is a girl, a beautiful but terrifying creature named Hel. Half of her body is a beautiful, living woman, and the other half is a rotting corpse. She is a grotesque, morbid creature, a living paradox of life and death. The gods, in their wisdom, banish her to the underworld, a place where she can rule over the souls of the dead who did not die in battle. They give her a kingdom, a realm of her own, and they hope that she will stay there, a silent, macabre queen in a silent, macabre world. But you know, deep down, that she is not a friend, but a foe in waiting. The second child is a serpent, a snake of such immense size and power that it wraps around the entire world. His name is Jormungandr, the world serpent, and he is a creature of pure, unadulterated chaos. The gods, terrified of his power, throw him into the ocean, a place where he can grow, a place where he can wrap his body around the entire world, biting his own tail, a constant, physical reminder of a world that is in a constant state of flux. But you know, deep down, that he has not gone forever. He is just sleeping, waiting for the day he can wake up and destroy everything. The third child is a wolf. Not just a wolf, but a wolf of such immense size and power that he is a threat to the very existence of the gods. His name is Fenrir, and he is a monster of pure, unadulterated rage and fury. The gods, in their arrogance, decide to raise him in Asgard. They feed him, they play with him, they watch him grow, and they are horrified. Fenrir grows at an alarming rate, and he is a creature of immense strength and power. He is not just a wolf, he is a force of nature, a monster that cannot be tamed, a monster that is destined to kill Odin, the king of the gods, during Ragnarök. The gods, in their panic, decide that they must do something about Fenrir. They can't kill him, because he is a creature of prophecy, and they cannot change their own fate. So, they decide to bind him. They commission a great chain, a chain that is so strong, so powerful, that no creature, no matter how strong, can break it. They call it lading, and they go to Fenrir. They challenge him to a game. They tell him that they want to test his strength, that they want to see if he can break the chain. Fenrir, a creature of pride and immense ego, agrees. He allows them to put the chain on him, and with a single, powerful burst of strength, he breaks it. The gods are horrified. They have failed. They try again. They commission a second chain, a chain that is even stronger, even more powerful. They call it Dromi, and they go to Fenrir, and they challenge him again. Fenrir, a creature who is now a little suspicious, agrees to the challenge. He allows them to put the chain on him, and with a single, powerful burst of strength, he breaks it. The gods are terrified. They have failed again. They realize that they cannot create a chain that is strong enough to hold Fenrir. So, they turn to the dwarves, the master craftsmen of the underworld. They commission a chain that is not made of iron, but of something else, something that is both strong and pliable. They commission a chain called Gleipnir. Gleipnir is made of 6 impossible ingredients: the sound of a cat's footfall, the beard of a woman, the roots of a mountain, the sinews of a bear, the breath of a fish, and the spittle of a bird. It is a chain that is as light as silk, as thin as a ribbon, and as strong as the will of the gods. It is a work of impossible, magical art, and it is the one thing that can hold Fenrir. The gods, armed with Gleipnir, go to Fenrir. They challenge him again, a third time, but Fenrir, a creature who is now deeply, profoundly suspicious, refuses to play along. He knows that this chain is different, that it is not a test of strength, but a trap. He says that he will not allow them to bind him unless one of the gods, in a sign of good faith, places his hand in his mouth. The gods are terrified. They are a family of liars and cheats, and they know that this is a trap. They look around. a group of cowards, a group of liars, and no one is willing to make the sacrifice. Until a god named Tyr, a god of justice and courage, steps up. He is the one who is willing to make the sacrifice. He places his hand in Fenrir's mouth, a hand that he knows, deep down, he will never get back. The gods, with Tyr's hand in Fenrir's mouth, bind him with Gleipnir. Fenrir, in a fit of rage, tries to break the chain, but he can't. He struggles, he fights, he bites down, and he bites Tyr's hand off. Tyr, in a moment of excruciating pain, loses his hand, a permanent physical reminder of the price of betrayal, of the price of a god's fear. Fenrir is now chained, a monster who is chained to a rock in the middle of a desolate, forgotten world, a sword stuck in his mouth, his rage a constant, unending roar, but he is not defeated, he is just waiting. He is waiting for the day of Ragnarök, the day he can break his chains, kill Odin, and destroy everything. The gods, in their paranoia and their cruelty, have created their own downfall. They have created a monster. And then they have created a reason for that monster to hate them, to want to destroy them. It's a miserable, unending state of being. And it's a testament to the fact that even the gods are not exempt from the consequences of their own actions. The binding of Fenrir is not a victory. It's a temporary reprieve, a stay of execution, and a permanent reminder that the end is coming. And it's coming for you all. Tyr has lost his hand, a permanent reminder of your collective cowardice and the terrifying power of the monsters you created. The binding of Fenrir, a temporary victory, has left a scar on your family, both physical and emotional, but the misery of the gods, a deep gnawing sense of unease, is about to get a whole lot worse. The next chapter in your miserable existence is not about a betrayal or a monstrous creature. It's about a loss, a profound soul-crushing loss that will shake the very foundations of your world and bring you all to the brink of despair. You, the gods, are a family of liars, cheats, and manipulators. But you also have one pure shining beacon of light. His name is Balder, the son of Odin and Frigg. Balder is the god of light, purity, and beauty. He is beloved by everyone, by gods and humans alike. He is a man who can do no wrong, a man who is the very embodiment of goodness and hope. He is the one god you all genuinely love, the one god who makes your miserable existence a little more bearable. But Balder is having nightmares. He is having terrible, prophetic dreams of his own death, dreams that are so vivid, so terrifying, that they begin to haunt him in his waking life. He is a god of light, but he is living in a world of shadows, a world of fear and dread. He tells his mother, Frigg, about his nightmares, and she, in a fit of maternal panic, decides to do something about it. She goes on a mission, a glorious, desperate mission to save her son. She travels the 9 worlds, and she makes every single living thing, every single plant, every single creature, every single rock, promise that it will not harm Balder. She gets a promise from the trees, from the animals, from the mountains, from the rivers. She gets a promise from everything. She's so thorough, so meticulous, so completely and utterly convinced that she has saved her son, that she misses one tiny detail, one single plant, a small, insignificant thing that she believes is too young and too weak to ever pose a threat. She misses the mistletoe. With the promise secured, Balder is now invincible. He is a god who cannot be harmed. This, of course, leads to a new form of entertainment for you. The gods. You all get together in a field, and you throw things at Balder. You throw rocks at him. You throw swords at him. You throw hammers at him. And every time, the weapons simply bounce off, harmlessly. It's a silly, almost childish game, a way of celebrating the invincibility of your beloved son. It's a joyful, happy moment in a world that is so often filled with misery. It's the kind of a light-hearted, fun game you might have on a Sunday afternoon. If you were a god and your son was immune to all forms of harm, but Loki, the trickster god, the one who is always a little too clever for his own good, is not amused, He is not a fan of happiness, and he is not a fan of Balder. He sees the gods' joy, he sees their light, and he feels a deep, gnawing sense of envy. He sees their happiness, and he decides to ruin it. He disguises himself as an old woman, a clever and slightly misogynistic trick that he uses to get into the gods' inner circle. And he goes to Frigg. He asks her if she really got a promise from every single thing in the world. Frigg, in her pride, says yes. He asks her if she got a promise from the mistletoe, a small, insignificant plant that she had overlooked. Frigg, in her hubris, says no. Loki, now armed with a terrible, soul-crushing piece of information, goes out into the woods. He finds the mistletoe, a small, unassuming plant, and he carves it into a dart. He goes back to the field where the gods are playing their game, a field that is now a place of impending doom, and he finds Hoder, Balder's blind brother. Hoder is a god who is often forgotten, a god who is often left out of the fun. He is a quiet, unassuming man, a man who is not a fan of fighting or games. Loki, in his disguise, goes to Hoder and offers him a chance to join in the fun. He offers him the mistletoe dart, and he offers to guide his hand, to help him throw it at Balder. Hoder, in his simple, innocent desire to be a part of the game, agrees. He takes the dart and he throws it. The dart flies true. A small, insignificant piece of a plant that is now a weapon of immense power. It hits Balder, and he falls to the ground, dead, just like that. The light of the world, the beauty and the goodness, is gone. The gods are in a state of shock, a state of profound soul-crushing grief. They have lost the one thing they truly loved, the one thing that made their miserable existence a little more bearable. The fun game has become a funeral that is a testament to the fact that even the gods are not immune to the cruelty of a trickster god and the terrible, irreversible consequences of a mother's oversight. It's a classic example of a single, seemingly minor detail, a forgotten plant, leading to a cosmic tragedy. The gods, in their grief, try to get Balder back. They send a messenger to Hel, the queen of the underworld, to plead for his return. Hel, a cruel and calculating goddess, agrees to let Balder go, but on one condition: every single living thing in the world must weep for him. The gods, in a desperate last-ditch effort, go out and ask every single creature, every single plant, every single rock, to weep for Balder, and they do. The world is a place of universal sorrow, a place of tears and grief. It's a testament to the fact that Balder was, indeed, beloved by all. But a single giantess, a creature named Thor, refuses to weep. She is, of course, Loki in disguise. He is a god who is not a fan of tears, and he is not a fan of sorrow. He refuses to weep, and because of his refusal, Balder is trapped in the underworld forever. The light of the world is gone, and a new age of shadows and sorrow has begun. The gods, in their grief, have a new kind of misery to deal with. They are not just a family of liars and cheats, they are a family of mourners, a family who has lost the one thing they truly loved. They are a family who knows, deep down, that the end is coming, and it is coming for them all. The death of Balder is not just a tragedy, it's a sign. It's a sign of a world that is beginning to unravel, a world that is beginning to fall into darkness, a world that is slowly but surely heading towards Ragnarök. The most popular historical fact of this part of the mythology is that Balder's death is seen as the beginning of the end. A lesser-known fact is the debate among historians and archaeologists about the nature of the mistletoe. Some scholars believe that the mistletoe, in a more ancient version of the myth, might have been a symbol of healing or a life-giving force, and Loki's use of it was a perversion of its original meaning. This would make his act even more sinister. It is a debate that still rages on, a debate that is a testament to the fact that even the myths of the gods are not exempt from a little historical revisionism. It's a miserable, unending state of being. And it's a testament to the fact that even the gods are not exempt from a bad day at the office. The death of Balder, the most beloved of your gods, has plunged Asgard into a darkness that even the sun cannot dispel. A universal sorrow hangs over your world, a thick, suffocating blanket of grief. The games are over, the laughter has died, and the silence is a constant, mournful reminder of what you have lost. You, the gods, are no longer a family of bickering, arrogant deities. You are a family of mourners, a family who knows, deep down, that the end is coming, and all of it, every single bit of this pain, this sorrow, this loss, is because of one person, Loki. You, the gods, are in a state of shock, of profound soul-crushing grief, but that grief is slowly, relentlessly turning into something else. It is turning into rage. You realize that Loki, the one who has always been a thorn in your side, the one who has always caused a little bit of mischief, has crossed a line. He is no longer just a trickster, he is a murderer. He is no longer just a prankster, he is a villain. He is a direct, terrifying threat to the very existence of your world, a threat that you can no longer ignore. The time for games is over. The time for justice, for retribution, has begun. But Loki is a god of cunning and deceit, a god who is always a step ahead. He knows that his time in Asgard is over. He knows that the gods, in their grief and their fury, will not forgive him. He flees, a fugitive in his own world, a god on the run from a family that wants his head. He hides in the mountains, in a remote, forgotten corner of the world, a place where he believes he is safe. He transforms himself into a salmon, a fish that is both fast and elusive, and he hides in a waterfall, a place where the water can wash away his sins, a place where he believes he is safe from a god's rage. It's a clever trick, a classic piece of Loki mischief, but it is also a desperate, terrifying act of a god who knows that his time is running out. But you, the gods, are not fools. You are a family of deities who have been lied to and betrayed so many times that you have developed a sixth sense for it. You go looking for him. A relentless, furious search that is as much a hunt as it is a punishment. You find his hiding place, a small, unassuming waterfall in a remote corner of the world. You know he is there. A small, insignificant fish in a large, angry body of water. You, the gods, in a moment of brilliant, furious ingenuity, create a fishing net, a net that is designed to catch a fish that is both fast and elusive. It's a net that is as much a weapon as it is a tool, a symbol of your rage and your determination to catch the one who has caused you so much pain. The gods, in their fury, begin to fish. They throw the net into the waterfall, and they catch a fish. They catch a big one. It's Loki, of course, in his salmon form. And he is a god who is both a fish and a man, a paradox of nature and magic. He is caught, and he is dragged out of the water, a desperate, gasping creature who knows that his time has come. The gods are not in a mood for a trial, for a conversation, for a plea for mercy. They are in a mood for punishment, a brutal, humiliating and permanent punishment that will be a testament to the fact that you, the gods, are not to be trifled with. You, the gods, take Loki to a cave, a dark, desolate place in the middle of nowhere. You find his son, Nari, and you, in a final, horrifying act of cruelty, turn him into a wolf. The wolf, in a moment of pure, unadulterated rage, tears his brother, Narfi, to pieces. It's a gruesome, terrifying sight. A moment of family violence that is both a reflection of your own rage and a testament to the fact that you, the gods, are not all-powerful. You are not a family of light and love. You are a family of dark, terrible secrets. You take the intestines of Narfi, the boy who was torn to pieces by his own brother, and you use them to bind Loki to a rock. It's a terrible, soul-crushing punishment. A punishment that is both a symbol of his betrayal and a testament to the fact that you, the gods, are not above a little bit of gruesome, family-related violence. But the punishment doesn't end there. A snake, a venomous, terrifying creature, is placed above Loki's head, and its venom drips onto his face, a constant, unrelenting stream of pain and agony. His wife, Sigyn, in a final, tragic act of love and loyalty, sits by his side, a bowl in her hands, catching the venom before it can hit his face. But the bowl fills up, and she has to leave to empty it. When she leaves, the venom hits his face, and Loki, in a fit of agony, thrashes against his chains. His thrashing is so violent, so powerful, that it shakes the very foundations of the earth, causing earthquakes, a constant physical reminder of a god's rage and a god's pain. It's a miserable, unending state of being, a punishment that will last for eons, a punishment that will only end with the coming of Ragnarök. The historical debate around Loki's punishment is a fascinating one. While most ancient sources agree on the details of the binding and the snake, some scholars argue that the story might be a later addition, a way of demonizing a god who was, in earlier times, a more ambivalent figure. They suggest that Loki, in an older version of the myth, might have been less a villain and more a wild, unpredictable force of nature, a god who was a necessary part of the world's chaos. The story of his punishment, in this interpretation, is a way of a later, more Christianized culture trying to fit a pagan god into a more traditional narrative of good and evil. This is the ultimate fate of a god who dared to challenge the status quo, a god who dared to cause a little bit of mischief in a world that was already so miserable. He is a prisoner in his own world, a constant, living reminder of a god's fury and a god's pain. The gods, in their revenge, have created their own downfall, a permanent physical reminder of the dark, terrible things they are capable of. The binding of Loki is not a victory, it's a tragic, horrifying act of a family who has been pushed to the very brink of despair, a family who is now just waiting for the end. The gods, in their fury, have sealed their own fate, and the slow, agonizing countdown to Ragnarök has begun. Loki is now bound, his screams of agony and rage causing earthquakes across the 9 worlds, a constant, physical reminder of the gods' cruelty. You, the gods, have exacted your revenge, but the price of that revenge is a deep, abiding sense of unease. You have created a permanent, living symbol of your own downfall, a monster who is waiting for the day he can break his chains and destroy everything. But Loki is not the only monster you have to worry about. His children, those grotesque, terrifying creatures you created, are still out there. Jörmungandr, the world serpent, is still in the ocean, wrapped around the entire world, a silent, menacing presence, and you, the gods, are about to have a very close, very terrifying encounter with him. The god who has the biggest problem with Jörmungandr, and with giants in general, is Thor. Thor is a god of immense strength, a god of thunder, and a man who loves a good fight. He is a protector of Asgard, a defender of the gods, and a man who, in a very real way, is a walking, talking force of nature. He is the one who is tasked with keeping the giants at bay, and he is the one who has a deep, personal hatred for them. But his hatred is about to be put to the test, in a way that is both humiliating and deeply, profoundly terrifying. One day, Thor and Loki are out on a fishing trip. Yes, a fishing trip. Even the gods need a little bit of downtime, a little bit of rest and relaxation. But this is not a normal fishing trip. They are in the world of the giants, in a small, unassuming boat, and they are about to have an encounter that will shake the very foundations of your world. They are fishing in a place where no one has ever fished before, in a place where the ocean is deep, dark, and filled with ancient, terrifying secrets. Thor, in his typical fashion, is trying to catch a big one. He is using a powerful magical rod, and he is determined to catch a fish that is a testament to his immense strength and his godlike power. But he gets more than he bargained for. He feels a massive, powerful tug on his line, a tug that is so strong, so immense, that it almost pulls him out of the boat. He fights with the line, his muscles straining, his face a mask of determination, and he is convinced that he has hooked the biggest fish in the world. He pulls and he pulls, a monumental struggle between a god and a creature that is so powerful, so immense, that it seems to be an act of God himself. But this is not a fish, it's Jormungandr, the world serpent, a creature that is as old as the world itself, a creature that has been waiting for this moment, a creature that has a deep, personal hatred for the gods. Thor, in a final, powerful burst of strength, manages to pull the serpent's head out of the water, and there he is, a creature of such immense size, of such terrifying power, that he is a sight to behold. His head is the size of a mountain, his eyes are a fiery, malevolent red, and his breath is a torrent of poison and decay. He is a terrifying, magnificent creature, and he is looking at you, at Thor, with a look of pure, unadulterated hatred. This is the moment of truth, the moment that will decide the fate of your world. This is the moment that will decide whether you, the gods, are a family of heroes or a family of cowards. Thor, in his rage and his fear, raises his hammer. Mjolnir, a weapon that is designed to kill giants, a weapon that is designed to kill monsters, and he is about to strike. He is about to kill the world serpent, to end the threat once and for all, to save your world from the coming of Ragnarök. But Loki, in a final, heartbreaking act of betrayal, cuts the fishing line where he cuts the line, and the serpent, in a moment of surprise and terror, falls back into the ocean. A massive, terrifying splash that sends waves across the 9 worlds. The serpent is gone, and the moment is over. Thor, in his rage, throws Loki into the ocean. But the damage is done, the serpent is gone, and the prophecy of Ragnarök is still alive. The historical debates around this event are as old as the myth itself. Some ancient sources, most notably the poetic Edda, describe a more triumphant version of the story, where Thor does, in fact, manage to kill the serpent. The later prose Edda, however, paints a more humiliating, more tragic picture, a picture of a god who has failed, a picture of a world that is still under the threat of a monstrous, world-ending creature. This is a classic example of a myth that has changed over time, a myth that has been revised and re-revised to fit the needs of a new audience, a new culture, a new set of values. It is a debate that is a testament to the fact that even the myths of the gods are not exempt from a little historical revisionism. It is a miserable, unending state of being, and it is a testament to the fact that even the gods are not exempt from a bad day at the office. This is the ultimate humiliation for Thor, a god who prides himself on his strength, his courage, his ability to fight and to win. He has failed. He has failed to kill the one monster that is destined to kill him during Ragnarök. He has failed to save your world from the coming of the end. He has failed to live up to his own hype. He is a god who is now living with the knowledge that he is not as powerful as he thinks he is. A god who is living with the knowledge that his own fate, his own death, is sealed, and there is nothing he can do about it. The world serpent is still out there, a silent, menacing presence, a constant reminder of a god's failure and a world's impending doom. The humiliation of Thor's fishing trip, the failure to kill the world serpent, is a shame that hangs over your world. Loki's betrayal, his cruel act of cutting the line, is a fresh wound, a constant reminder of the darkness that lurks in the heart of your own family. You, the gods, are a family of powerful, immortal beings, but you are also a family of liars, cheats, and manipulators, and your own actions are coming back to haunt you, a slow, agonizing descent into a misery that you created yourselves. But the true, horrifying nature of your fate is about to be revealed, in a way that is both dramatic and deeply, profoundly terrifying. The end is coming. Not just an end, but the end. Ragnarök. You, the gods, are a family who lives with the knowledge of your own doom. The prophecy of Ragnarök, the end of the world, is not a secret. It is a story that is told, a story that is whispered in the halls of Asgard, a story that is as much a part of your lives as the sun and the moon. But a prophecy is not a reality until it is spoken aloud, until it is given a voice, until it is given a face, and that is about to happen, in a way that will shake the very foundations of your world. Odin, the king of the gods, is a man who is obsessed with knowledge. He has sacrificed an eye for a drink from the well of Mimir, a well of immense wisdom, and he has hung himself on the world tree, Yggdrasil, for 9 days and 9 nights to gain the knowledge of the runes. He is a god who knows that knowledge is power, and he is a god who is desperate to know his own fate, to know the secrets of the end of the world. He knows that the end is coming, but he wants to know how, when, and why. He wants to know the details. He wants to know the script of his own demise. He goes to a vulva, a powerful seeress, a woman who has a connection to the past, to the present, and to the future. He wakes her from her sleep, a sleep that has lasted for eons, a sleep that has been a long, quiet rest from a world that is too full of pain and sorrow. He asks her to tell him the story of Ragnarök, the story of the end of the world. The vulva, in a state of profound reluctance, agrees. She knows that what she is about to say will bring a new kind of misery to the gods, a new kind of fear that will haunt them for the rest of their lives. But she also knows that fate cannot be denied, and that the story must be told. The vulva begins to speak, her voice a low, mesmerizing chant that fills the air with a sense of dread. She tells you a story of a world that is going to end, a world that is going to be destroyed, a world that is going to be consumed by fire and fury. She tells you a story of a long winter, the Fimbul winter, a winter that will last for 3 years, a winter that will be a sign of the end. She tells you a story of a sun and a moon that will be swallowed by wolves, a story of a world that will be plunged into an eternal, suffocating darkness. She tells you a story of a world tree that will shake, a world tree that will tremble, a world tree that will be a sign of a world that is about to fall. She tells you a story of a final battle, a battle that will be fought on the field of Vagridr, a battle that will be a clash of gods and monsters, of heroes and villains. She tells you a story of a final, terrible war, a war that will be a testament to the fact that all of your lies, all of your betrayals, all of your cruelty has come back to haunt you. She tells you a story of a final, terrible conflict, a conflict that will be the culmination of all your mistakes, all your hubris, all your bad decisions. She tells you a story of a god named Heimdall, the guardian of the gods, the one who is always on watch, the one who can see and hear everything. She tells you a story of a horn, the Gjallarhorn, a horn that will be blown, a horn that will signal the beginning of the end, a horn that will wake the gods, the heroes, and the monsters for a final, terrible battle. She tells you a story of a serpent, the world serpent, Jörmungandr, a creature that will rise from the ocean, a creature that will poison the air, a creature that will poison the land, a creature that will fight Thor, and they will kill each other. She tells you a story of a wolf, Fenrir, a creature that will break his chains, a creature that will run across the world with his jaws open wide, a creature that will swallow Odin, the king of the gods, a creature that will kill him. She tells you a story of Loki, a creature that will break his chains, a creature that will lead an army of giants and monsters against you all, a creature that will fight Heimdall, and they will kill each other. She tells you a story of a final, terrible battle. A battle that will be the end of you all. A battle that will be a testament to the fact that you have all failed. The Volva's prophecy is not just a story. It is a weight. A heavy, suffocating weight that now hangs over your world. The gods, who once lived with a vague, unsettling fear of the end, now live with a detailed, terrifying knowledge of it. You know how you will die. You know who will kill you. You know that all your monsters, all your fears, all your betrayals are coming back for a final, terrible reckoning. You know that all of your hubris, all of your arrogance has led you to this moment, a moment of profound, irreversible despair. The historical debates around the Volva's prophecy are a fascinating testament to the fact that even a mythological story can have a deeper, more profound meaning. Some scholars argue that the Volva's prophecy is not a literal story of the end of the world, but a metaphor for a shift in culture, a shift in power, a shift in the way people saw the world. They suggest that the prophecy is a way of a new, more Christianized culture trying to make sense of a pagan one, a way of a new religion trying to make sense of an old one. It is a debate that still rages on, a debate that is a testament to the fact that even the myths of the gods are not exempt from a little historical revisionism. It is a miserable, unending state of being, and it is a testament to the fact that even the gods are not exempt from a bad day at the office. The prophecy of Ragnarök hangs in the air, a thick, suffocating blanket of dread that no amount of feasting or glory can ever dispel. You, the gods, are a family who knows your own doom, a family who knows the script of your own demise. But the end is not here yet. There is still time, a long, agonizing period of waiting, a long, drawn-out period of misery that is as much a punishment as the final battle itself. In this interim, you are not a family of heroes preparing for a final, glorious battle. You are a family of deeply flawed, profoundly unhappy individuals struggling with the mundane, soul-crushing realities of your own existence. You, the gods, are not all-powerful. You are not perfect. You are not a family of light and love. You are a family of liars, cheats, and manipulators. And your daily lives are a testament to that fact. The halls of Asgard, the magnificent city you built, are not a place of peace and harmony. They are a place of bickering, of petty arguments, of a constant, low-level unhappiness that is as much a part of your lives as the sun and the moon. Take, for example, the goddess Freya. She is a goddess of love and beauty, a goddess of war and death, a goddess who is both a lover and a warrior. But she is also a deeply unhappy woman. She is married to a god named Odin, a god who is always on the run, a god who is always on a journey, a god who is never home. She is a woman who is constantly weeping for her husband, her tears turning to gold, a beautiful, tragic monument to a love that is never fulfilled. She is a goddess of love who is constantly in a state of heartbreak, a goddess of beauty who is constantly in a state of sorrow. She is a symbol of a love that is never returned, a love that is a source of a deep, abiding misery. She is, in a way, the quintessential unhappy housewife, but on a cosmic scale. And then there's Frigg, the wife of Odin. She is a goddess of marriage and motherhood, a goddess who is a protector of her children, a goddess who is supposed to be a symbol of a happy family life. But she is also a woman who is constantly tormented by the knowledge of her son Baldur's death, a woman who is constantly tormented by the knowledge of her husband's impending doom, a woman who is a silent, mournful witness to a family that is falling apart. She is a goddess of motherhood who has lost her most beloved child, a goddess of marriage who is married to a man who is obsessed with knowledge and who is destined to die. She is, in a way, a woman who is a silent, mournful witness to the slow, agonizing decay of her own family. The gods, in their daily lives, are also constantly struggling with mundane problems, problems that are a testament to their own pride and their own stupidity. Take the story of Thor and his constant. embarrassing encounters with giants. He is a god of immense strength, a god of thunder, but he is also a man who is constantly being tricked, constantly being humiliated, constantly being made to look like a fool. He is a god who, in a way, is a victim of his own hubris, a victim of his own arrogance, a man who is constantly being reminded that he is not as powerful as he thinks he is. The famous tale of Thor's journey to the castle of the giant Loki is a perfect example of this. Thor, accompanied by Loki and 2 human servants, travels to the land of the giants, confident in his strength. But Loki, a master of illusion, humiliates him at every turn. Thor is challenged to drink from a horn, but the horn is connected to the entire ocean, and no matter how much he drinks, the level barely drops. He is challenged to lift a cat, but the cat is, in fact, the world serpent, Jormungandr, in disguise, and no matter how hard he tries, he can only lift one of its paws off the ground. He is challenged to wrestle an old woman, but the old woman is old age itself, and no matter how much he fights, he cannot win. These are not just pranks, they are a deep, psychological humiliation, a constant, physical reminder of the fact that even the gods are not immune to the relentless, unending march of time. He is a god of strength who has been proven to be weak, a god of power who has been proven to be a fool, and it is a misery that he has to live with every single day. A little known fact about this story is that the name Loki is not a coincidence, while he is a giant. He shares the name with the god Loki, a detail that many scholars believe is a deliberate, subtle hint at the intertwined nature of the gods and the giants. It suggests that the gods are not a separate, pure race, but a race that is deeply, intrinsically connected to the chaos and the darkness of the giants. It is a detail that adds a new layer of misery to the gods' lives, a new layer of psychological horror, a new layer of a family that is so deeply, so profoundly broken, that it is a source of a never-ending despair. The gods, in their daily lives, are a family of profoundly unhappy individuals. They are a family who lives with the knowledge of their own doom, a family who lives with the consequences of their own actions, a family who lives with a constant, low-level misery that is as much a part of their lives as the air they breathe. They are not a family of heroes and glorious warriors. They are a family of liars, cheats, and manipulators, and their lives are a testament to that fact. This is the miserable reality of the Norse gods, and it is a reality that is slowly but surely leading them to a final, terrible end, an end that they have all been waiting for. The long agonizing wait is almost over. The misery of your daily lives, the bickering, the sorrow, the shame, it's all a prelude, a slow, relentless drumbeat leading to the final, terrible act. You, the gods, are a family who knows your own doom, and now, the signs of that doom are all around you. The world, the beautiful flawed world you built from the body of a dead giant, is beginning to unravel. The long winter, the Fimbul winter, has come. A relentless cold that has lasted for 3 years. A cold that has killed the crops. A cold that has killed the warmth in the hearts of men and gods alike. The sun and the moon, the 2 beautiful celestial bodies you placed in the sky, are now being chased by wolves, a constant, terrifying race that will end with them being swallowed whole. The world tree, Yggdrasil, the tree that holds all the 9 worlds together, is beginning to shake, its ancient, powerful roots trembling with a silent, terrifying fear. The end is coming, and it's coming for you all. You, the gods, are no longer a family of bickering, arrogant deities. You are a family of survivors, a family who is now just waiting for the final, terrible battle. You are a family who knows that all your betrayals, all your cruelties, all your lies, have come back to haunt you. You are a family who knows that your fate, your death, is sealed, and there is nothing you can do about it. The silence in the halls of Asgard is a different kind of silence now. It is not a silence of peace or harmony. It is a silence of dread. A silence of a family who is now just waiting for the final curtain call. The final act of your miserable existence begins with a horn. A horn that is blown. A horn that is heard across all the 9 worlds. A horn that is a signal for the beginning of the end. It is the Gjallarhorn. The horn of the god Heimdall, the guardian of the gods, the one who is always on watch, the one who can see and hear everything. He blows the horn. A long, mournful sound that fills the air with a sense of dread and finality. A sound that signals the end of the world. From the depths of the underworld, from the cold, dark world of the dead, a ship made from the fingernails of the dead, a ship named Naglfar, begins to sail. It is a ship that is captained by Loki, the one you bound, the one you tortured, the one you left to rot in a cave. He is now free, and he is coming for you. An army of giants and monsters at his side, an army of chaos and destruction. He is a symbol of all your lies, all your betrayals, all your cruelty, and he is coming for a final, terrible reckoning. From the ocean, the world serpent, Jormungandr, a creature you threw into the sea, a creature you humiliated, a creature you tried to kill, rises from the depths. His immense body is a terrifying sight, a serpent that wraps around the entire world, his breath a torrent of poison and decay. He is a symbol of all your arrogance, all your hubris, and he is coming for a final, terrible battle with Thor, the god who failed to kill him. From the land of the giants, from the cold, dark world of Jotunheim, a massive, powerful wolf, Fenrir, a creature you raised, a creature you chained, a creature you betrayed, breaks his chains. He is a symbol of all your cruelty, all your paranoia, and he is coming for a final, terrible battle with Odin, the king of the gods, the man who sacrificed his hand for a drink from a well of wisdom, the man who is destined to be his meal. The final battle, Ragnarök, is not a glorious battle of heroes and villains. It is a slaughter. It is a final, terrible reckoning. A battle that is a testament to the fact that all your monsters, all your fears, all your betrayals have come back to haunt you. Odin, the king of the gods, is swallowed whole by Fenrir, a final, humiliating end to a life that was obsessed with knowledge and power. Thor, the god of thunder, kills the world serpent, Jormungandr, but he is poisoned by its venom, and he dies, a final, tragic end to a life that was obsessed with strength and glory. Loki, the trickster god, the one who caused all this misery, fights Heimdall, the guardian of the gods, and they kill each other. A final, tragic end to a life that was obsessed with mischief and deceit. The world is consumed by fire and fury. The sun and the moon are swallowed by wolves. The world tree, Yggdrasil, a symbol of all the 9 worlds, falls, and the universe is plunged into a final, eternal darkness. It is the end of everything. It is the end of the gods, the end of the giants, the end of the world. It is the end of your miserable, unending existence. But there is a small flicker of hope. A new world of light and life, is born from the ashes of the old. A new generation of gods, a new generation of humans, is born. It is a new beginning, a new chapter in the history of the universe. But for you, the gods, it is the end. It is the end of your story, a story that was not of glory and of light, but of betrayal, of sorrow, and of a misery that you created yourselves. It is a miserable, unending state of being, and it is a testament to the fact that even the gods are not exempted from a bad day at the office. And so the story ends, a tale not for sweet dreams, but a stark reminder that every glorious journey can be tarnished by the choices made and the prices paid. The story of the Norse gods is no fairy tale. It's a hard-won lesson about ambition, betrayal, and a dangerous love. You've likely seen those final images of the gods, lonely old men by the sea, and then the tragic accident with the very ship that carried them to both glory and ruin. Everything fades away now, distant and blurred, leaving only the gentle sound of the ocean and the steady hum of a fan. Just let these historical tales lull you to sleep. Don't worry about the gods' burdens, the curses, the prophecies, or the costs. They are all just stories from the past. Take a deep breath, close your eyes. A whole night awaits you.